Hey guys, Ramblin' Man here, taking a stop. Some of you may recognize this parking lot as one that I stop at a lot to do some practicing. And a few people have asked me, especially when I meet other riders on the road or people that don't ride, um, especially when I tell them I just got into this like 3 years ago, why do you ride? So I know all of us have our own reasons. I thought I'd make a quick video about why I ride. And I hope you'll share your reasons for riding in the comments down below. So just a little bit of my history. I had at one point, my wife and I lived in Arizona, and I used to drive by this Harley dealership we saw all the time, and man, it always looked like they were having a party there. Music, groups of people hanging out, eating, and then doing group rides. And I would go up to Sedona or the Grand Canyon, and I'm in my car, and I would see these group rides. I'd be like, man, that looks like so much fun. And back then, my wife asked me not to do that hobby. We didn't have kids yet. We had our first kid when we were out in Arizona, and she definitely didn't want me to do it. And I joke now that we've been married over 25 years. Apparently, she's okay if I die. She doesn't like that joke, but I think it's pretty funny. She did go and get licensed with me when we did the MSF course together, but she has no interest in riding. And she said one day she might want to be a passenger, but I'm not ready for that part yet. But why did I want to do this? Well, for one, it just looked like fun. And a buddy and I used to do mountain biking for many years when I was in much better shape. And we would go into the woods on paths, and man, we would tear it up. And I used to always joke, the next logical step for this is put a motor on this thing. And he didn't have any interest in that, and still doesn't. But I always thought, man, it'd be so much fun for the speed factor part of it and to see things in a different way. So that was part of it. I didn't do this stuff as a kid. I talked to a lot of riders that tell me, yeah, I've been doing this since I was 7 or 8, 9, 10 years old on dirt bikes. I never had any of that. And so all of this was new to me. I rode a bicycle, but that was about it. Like, I didn't have dirt bikes or ATVs as a kid. So part of it was kind of wanting to experience a little bit of what I missed out on. Like, that was part of it. I think part of it is just stress release and getting out. And I love seeing my home state of Virginia. It's a beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia to get around and see it and to see America. So I kind of plan to keep drifting further out to take more trips further and further and longer. And I don't think I would ever just hop in my car now. I used to do this in my youth when I first started driving and stuff, but I don't think I'd just hop in my car on a whim and go on a 5-hour drive to see part of Virginia. But I've done it a number of times on my motorcycle on short notice. I'll just get on the bike and go riding in a different direction. Doing it that way just lets you see things in a way you wouldn't have normally seen it inside the car. You look at the road totally different. You look at your environment totally different. You can get more of the smells through your helmet, whether it's fresh cut grass, cow fields, just the rain. When it's raining in your car, it's raining, but when it rains on the motorcycle, you can actually probably even smell the storm coming even more. To me, it's fun. It's exhilarating. It's a fresh perspective. I just turned 50 recently, and part of it for me is to, there's not too many firsts in life the older you get. And, to me, I still remember taking that first ride when I bought my Indian Scout. Man, I was terrified. And you don't get that feeling too often the more you age. Um, I think we can all remember when we learned to drive a car. It was probably, man, it's exciting. And it's a first. And you don't get many firsts. So to have your first motorcycle ride, and then there's a lot of firsts after that, taking your first overnight trip, having your first wreck, which I've had minor drops, having a wreck, but there's just things I don't want to experience a wreck. But it's just the point of challenging yourself to keep the mind and body active was part of it. Um, for me, that's not just a side effect of it. That was one of the reasons I got into it. Was I wanted to experience some first and challenge myself to take up something new, and it keeps me busy. I've watched hours of YouTube videos trying to prepare before I even bought the bike. I've watched hours of videos on how to ride better. And now I've started just making some videos for the heck of it. And you guys in the comments have given me good feedback on stuff that I've acted upon. And so it's fun from that perspective. I've said a few times in the videos, this wasn't one of the reasons I decided to get into this, because I didn't know this would necessarily happen, but as a fun reason that keeps me motivated to keep riding is I have talked to people that I probably never would have spoken to, or vice versa, just because of the bike. Whether I'm at a gas station, a grocery store, Overlook, when I'm riding Skyline Drive, anywhere, this motorcycle will strike up conversations with people from different walks of life and backgrounds that look different than me, that probably have a lot of different beliefs on a lot of things. But man, when they start talking about the bike, they take a real interest, and I take an interest in them. Some of them ride, some don't, some used to. And I've had compliments that the bike looks like a work of art from people that don't ride, but that admire what the bikes look like. This one and the Super Chief that I still own. And that's a fun side effect of it. And I think that's part of it that when my wife, if she ever comes out on a ride with me, she'll enjoy too. I think she'll, you can tell somebody about it, but once you're out there and you kind of feel that, it's kind of a unique thing because it's just something in common that strikes up a conversation. And I'm hoping to kind of see more of the U.S. that way with her, go out together once I'm ready. Right now I don't feel ready to take a passenger. And, but one day I think we'll do that. A lot of you that ride have heard the phrase wind therapy, and I think there's something to that too. As a stress reliever, it's being very purposeful about doing something else that's a distraction. And when you're riding the bike, your mind might drift back onto some of your troubles, but if you're doing it the right way, you're focused on this important activity, because you got to have your head on a swivel and constantly be thinking about what you're doing. And it kind of makes everything else go away. And I just find that after I've been out riding a while, doesn't take long. It's just a de-stressor. And that was another reason that I got into it. It's just a helpful thing to kind of take away and detox a little bit. And, I'll just say, these were in no particular order, by the way. When I mentioned the dealership I saw in Arizona, and the people, it was like this camaraderie. And right now I'm pretty much ride alone. So I haven't, when I got into it, I thought I would, that would be one of the reasons I got into it, was to meet other people, find something we have in common. But what I have found is so far, I just prefer to ride alone. So it's fine to meet some people at, rest stops and gas stations and have conversations. But I did do that small group ride that I organized just recently, and that was a lot of fun. It was kind of a full day ride. We stopped and had lunch together. And you have this bond in common that kind of springboards the conversations. But hopefully I'm going to zero in on maybe 2 to 4 other people that I know we kind of have a common riding approach. But this camaraderie and friendship, to try to expand the network, that's part of it. Those were in no particular order, but those are probably kind of my key things about why am I riding. I have to admit, when I see some accidents and read about them, I'm thinking, man, this is kind of stupid, right? I got kids and a wife who want me to come home, and as all of you do, but man, some of the riders that you see out there act like they're bulletproof, and I'm kind of the opposite. I'm very conservative, very cautious, and sometimes I think I should just buy an open air Jeep with no doors and go riding. But so far, I've really loved it. I've loved it as much as I hoped I would. When I did that first ride, I wasn't quite sure. And man, as soon as I got out that first ride, I knew I loved it. Like, it was a blast. So anyhow, leave it in the comments about why you ride. I'm curious, did I check some of the same boxes you check? Are there things maybe I overlooked and I might be like, oh yeah, that's another one. But leave it in the comments why you guys ride. All right, I'll see you on the road.